Interesting question. How much sleep do you need? How many hours for muscle growth? Even 5 years ago, there was this belief, how much do you need to sleep? 8 hours. In fact, there's already plenty of evidence that it's a pretty individual thing. For some, 6 is enough. For others, 8 isn't enough. So naming a single number is just wrong. You really need to know yourself, to observe exactly when you wake up feeling rested. And this isn't like a today or tomorrow thing. You need to track it for a month to then determine that, okay, 7 hours is enough for me. 8 hours is actually too much. Or for example, if you have, well, a serious heavy workload, you're training a lot, right? Obviously on those days it might be a bit longer, but in reality I'd say if you sleep 6 hours and feel fine, super, great. Individually, a range of 6 to 8 hours is absolutely normal. First off, muscles hurt simply from micro tears. That's normal. If we look at it, there are 3 levels everyone can decide for themselves, right? Like 3 categories of pain: mild, moderate, and really hurting. You can add 1 to 2 grams of L-citrulline. A simple supplement really helps to get rid of soreness or painful sensations, if you want to put it that way. But of course, like any supplement, it will only help, not solve the problem right away. I would put as number 1, doing a very light workout on the same muscle groups. Meaning, get the blood flowing through what hurts. Your legs hurt, your shoulders hurt, what were you doing? What did you overload? Get the blood flowing through that same muscle group. Meaning, light reps, a light workout, about 40% of your usual load based on how it feels. That's the number 1 thing that will speed up recovery and specifically get rid of muscle soreness. If you have severe soreness, you need to do a very light workout on that muscle group. That's number 1. But if you also add creatine and L-citrulline, that's another 30% boost to your recovery speed. Next question, what if it's too bad? That means there's muscle damage and there's no other way except for the body to produce the hormone cortisol. Meaning cortisol is produced short term to suppress this stress. Cortisol is generally a stress hormone. Consequently, it won't let muscles build because it disrupts anabolism. It will use all resources for recovery rather than growth. So if you have very severe soreness, nothing will happen except high cortisol. High cortisol is usually produced during high stress in situations that are dangerous for the body, right? It produced cortisol to immediately and quickly relieve muscle pain so that you could run fast using all resources just for like an adrenaline rush, Adrenaline first, cortisol right after. So overloading at the gym is no good. You need to balance carefully and increase the load gradually. Moderate pain is the maximum you should aim for after a good workout. Even so, you still need L-citrulline, protein, creatine, get a good night's sleep. That will help you grow. But if your muscles hurt badly the day after a workout or even the day after that, it's no good. That's a signal to you to revise your training program next time. What were you doing? Well, it's not a myth, but not a scientific fact either, though I'd put it closer to being scientific. It reduces inflammation. But not all cold showers are created equal. What do you mean exactly? I mean, dumping a bucket of cold water on yourself is almost useless, but it will trigger a rush of adrenaline which helps you deal with fatigue after a workout. But everything within reason. For example, if you take a cold shower, like I know this from personal experience, my knees used to hurt because of inflammation. So a cold shower on the knees for 5 to 7 minutes always reduces inflammation. In general, a cold shower, cold water after a workout should be used very carefully because you can harm yourself. A cold shower after a workout, I'd say, is 70-30. Benefit versus harm. How does hot and cold affect the muscles and almost all tissues? So let's say you worked out. In any case, there's some inflammation. If you did great and managed to get those micro tears and gave it a good load, without overloading yourself, because again, if you have crazy soreness 3 days later, that's no good. Then, for example, you submerge your body in cold water. The blood vessels constrict, you get out, they dilate. It's like a massage for the blood vessels all over your body at once, so better circulation. That's why it's very good, but don't overdo it. I mean, you shouldn't get hypothermia. Hypothermia won't do any good. There's this theory that 70% of the world's population doesn't drink enough water daily, meaning the body adapts to some extent, but it's always in a state of mild dehydration. So electrolytes, they help compensate for that. And if you're sweating heavily, it's not even up for debate. You need electrolytes in a proper dosage, sugar-free. I think there's enough sugar in all the food around us. There's plenty. Electrolytes are very important. I actually noticed it myself on my fitness tracker that monitors sleep quality. During those 2 weeks when I was taking electrolytes, my heart rate was calmer and it worked better during sleep. I stopped taking them. And again, some things came back where I realized that electrolytes made my blood a little thinner. And so, the blood was less viscous, making it easier for the heart to pump. I put it this way: you need electrolytes in a proper dosage. Especially if you're active in sports, you definitely need them. First of all, it's a completely different lifestyle. Most people still have tasks to do during the day, work usually, or businesses. I mean, what was the daily routine in the national team? You wake up, do morning exercises, have breakfast, and go to sleep. A very standard daily routine. So after breakfast, you've eaten, you have a training session at 12 noon, and you need to sleep for 1 hour before that. Whether you want to or not, you have to. If you can't sleep, you'll pay for it. So training is at 12. You train for an hour and a half or two, have lunch, and go to sleep. From 3 to 4 in the afternoon, on average, you sleep for an hour. You absolutely have to sleep. If you don't, you won't recover. You have an evening training session at 6, you train, go for a walk, have dinner, or vice versa. Dinner, walk, then you go to sleep. In this mode, you can handle 2 training sessions a day, but your daily schedule is a bit unusual. It's not like you wake up at 7, right? And then go to bed at 10. So you still have these sleep periods during the day. That's why recovery follows slightly different, rules of the game, so to speak. But this means regular massages, regular stretching. It's just a different level of preparation. It's hard to advise someone who goes to the gym, say, 3 times a week or even every day. It's hard to advise them, try sleeping 3 times a day, eating, doing nothing else, and focusing only on training. On one hand, it sounds great, but on the other hand, yes, you can handle high loads in the afternoon and evening training. It's a very complex thing how you recover during preparation for, say, the World Cup or the European Championship. A whole set of procedures, but the basis is, of course, sleeping during the day. I highly recommend everyone to make every effort to arrange your life so that you can sleep for 1 hour during the day, say from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, but no more than an hour max, preferably 40 minutes. If you learn to do this, and you can learn, by the way, it's a matter of practice. You train yourself for 2 or 3 weeks, meaning you force yourself at the same time, under certain conditions, but it's a fantastic recovery. If you can find 40 minutes during the day to switch off, sleep for 40 minutes and continue your day, it'll feel like 2 days in one. Your efficiency increases a lot when you sleep for an hour during the day. That's a really great tip.